this YouTube story explain the corruption and racial discrimination by the Integrated Care Board of Northwest London National Health Service. This include the corruption, data protection fraud, racial discrimination based on white privilege in the decision related on the decision support tool assessment continuing health care between the dates of July the 27th, 2021 and July the 20th, 2023 in reference to the Parliamentary and Health Service Ombudsman dated, which the ICB failed to take note of May the 12th, 2022 and May the 16th, which they breached the Equality and Human Rights Commission by breaching the Equality Act under Section 6, Section 20 and Section 149, acted with disability and racial discrimination. Miss Alison Barclay committed data protection fraud, corruption. This include racial discrimination and disability discrimination, contravene the ICB anti-discrimination policy, cover up the corruption and bribery. This include data protection fraud and corruption, which was committed by the previous assessor, Nurse Katherine Hannon, on the DST Decision Support Tool Assessment of July the 27th, 2021, breached the Race Relation Act and the Article 9 under the Equality Act, and she breached Section 6, Section 20 and Section 149 in reference of disability and the Equality Act of 2010. Included, she breached Article 16 of the GDPR and the Data Protection Act under Section 165 and 173 in this respect. Miss Alison Barclay attempt to bribe the client service user and its support practitioner by covering up data protection, covering up racial discrimination and disability discrimination in a telephone call made by her colleague, Miss Sue Cooper, on May the 12th, 2022, cover up the racial discrimination committed by Nurse Katherine Hannon under the Equality Act 2010. This include committed corruption under the Bribery Act, carry imprisonment up to 10 years. Also breach the United Nations Convention Against Corruption in this respect. Miss Alison Barclay cover up racial discrimination. She cover up breaches of the Equality Act under Section 6, Section 9, Section 20 and Section 149. She also breached the United Nations Convention on the Right of Persons with Disability. She breached the United Nations Convention on the Right of Older Person. She breached the United Nations Convention on all forms against racial discrimination. And she has breached the United Nations Convention Against Corruption because Miss Alison Barclay have committed institutionalized abuse by using racial code of promoting white privilege on the DST assessment when deciding the service user assessment based on skin color of race. Also breached the Equality Act. Miss Alison Barclay cover up the telephone call made by Sue Cooper out of the blue, have committed racial discrimination, failed to follow the regulated procedures of the PHSO, acted unregulated in their jobs on May the 12th, 2022 and May the 16th, 2022. Miss Barclay was not being transparent, acted with deceit, acted with racial discrimination, carried out white supremacism. She breached the Equality Act by refusing the service user a request to have the meeting recorded on audio recorded, failing to make reasonable adjustment, and she breached the Equality Act under Section 6, Section 20 and Section 149. Ms. Barclay, she breached data protection. She committed fraud, bribery, and corruption by supporting Katherine Hannon in her racist policy by using white privilege. In other words, they breached Article 16 of the GDPR and the Data Protection Act under Section 165 and 173. In addition, they breached the National Health Service anti-corruption policy under the Bribery Act 2010. In other words, Ms. Barclay have breached the Autism Act 2009 under Section 3, and she breached the United Nations Convention on the Right of Persons with Disability. Alison Barclay have committed data protection, corruption, and fraud by breaching the service user service access data request SARS under Article 16 of the GDPR and the Data Protection Act under Section 165 and 173 on May 12, 2022. Ms. Alison Barclay acted cover up the misconduct and the racist behaviour of Ms. Cooper behaviour, intend to bribe the service user and its support practitioner with the sham offer of a local resolution meeting by breaching the Equality Act, which is a very serious allegation against the staff members. They have failed to follow any procedures because the ICB have breached their anti-corruption policy. They failed to comply with the Parliamentary Health Service Ombudsman because there are serious allegations against Alison Barclay. She ignored all documentation, lists of evidence. She breached the anti-corruption policy. She has acted with racism, with every cause. She was involved of promoting white privilege in order to say the service user got no rights because she acted with racial discrimination. She breached Section 9 of the Equality Act based on the ground of race. She breached the United Nations Convention against Racial Discrimination. She breached the Equality Act by breaching the UN Convention against the Rights of Persons with Disability under Section 6, Section 9, Section 20, Section 149. And she breached the United Nations Conventions on the right of all the person in this respect because she has committed bribery, she has abused the process, she acted with racial discrimination, she acted with fascism, she acted with Nazism, and she acted with racism in this respect.